All right, everybody, we are back again with Achala now. She will be teaching us the Beeja mantra for Shravana Nakshatra. So, welcome, Achala Namaste. Welcome back. So, please teach us about the Beeja mantra and how to recite the Beeja mantra for Shravana Nakshatra and the pronunciation of Shravana Nakshatra.
Namaste, Dr. Paiji. I'll just share my screen. Okay. So Shravana is the first nakshatra of Swadhisthana Chakra, and its Beej mantra is Man. So let's start with chanting the mantra for Shravana. Om Man Shravana Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Man Shravana Nakshatraye Namaha. Om Man Shravana Nakshatraye Namaha. So this Beej mantra gives birth to certain verbs in Sanskrit. So first one is mah, to be great, to be liberal, to bestow, which I found it really to be particularly strong quality of Shravana Nakshatra, to be liberal. Really, these are very liberal people very often, very tolerant people as well. Man, to sound. This again connects with the ear, with the listening. So also what I found with Shravana people that especially when moon is dwelling in Shravana Nakshatra, because moon is the mind, they very often are cooling down very easily with music when they listen to their favorite music. So whenever they feel a little bit down or depressed or nervous, whatever, it's enough for them to really just put their headphones and they are happy again. So it's very, very interesting. And man is also to think. And I really must say that, but this is also one quality that I noticed with Shravana. They really tend to think too much sometimes. And they really tend to worry too much as well and have a lot of doubts. Because Shravana Nakshatra is very interesting in a way. There are a lot of contradictories here because it's the nakshatra whose lord, Mahadasha lord, is moon, but it's residing in the sign of Saturn. So this is like, these planets usually don't go so well together. So on one hand, these people have really very good intuition and very intuitive dreams, and really this connection to inner guidance is very strong. But somehow they always tend to doubt it. They very rarely actually trust this inner voice. So because Shravana means to listen, I also had a feeling like very often they would rather go and ask everybody else and try to seek advice from others. And then only perhaps they will make a decision. But the problem is that when they go and ask people for advice, they try to listen to everybody. It's impossible because everybody has different opinion. So they end up again being confused. And that's a very interesting thing with Shravana Nakshatra because they themselves are actually very good counselors. Seriously, when you want to get a good advice, usually I would say go to Shravana person because the Shravana person will listen to you, really listen with empathy, with understanding, but also with very practical approach. So they can give very practical advices to people. But somehow they just very often don't have ability to give the same advice to themselves. So this is one thing that they need to work on more, to simply have more of this confidence and listening to the voice of their own heart, which is very interesting because when we again come to the concept of second nakshatra giving us a hint what quality we could develop more, the second from Shravana is Danishta, which is really like following the inner rhythm, the voice of the heart. So that's one quality of them that could be perhaps a little bit more balanced. And the last word is ma, to measure, to exchange. Because it's very interesting, this nakshatra is connected also to Lord Vamana, Trivikrama, who measured the earth, it's said, with 3 steps, right? Because 3 footprints are very strongly connected here. They are the symbol of that nakshatra too. And it's very interesting because also Bali Maharaj, who was about to give this boon to Vamana, he was also receiving this advice, the wrong advice from his own guru, Shukracharya, but he didn't listen to it. He actually chose to listen to his intuition, to what his heart was telling him. And anyways, he gave this land to Vamanadev. And this is why I noticed that Venus particularly, because Venus is Shukracharya, might not do well in that nakshatra, because it feels like we are not listening to it properly, right, to its advices. And that's the picture that I also found of Shravana Nakshatra. This is from this Bengali museum, which has certain nakshatras, but many of them are missing, unfortunately. And it's very interesting. I guess that this picture is the most connected with Shravan month, which is also the rainy season. So we can see that a lot of water is falling here from the two pots. But also what I noticed with this nakshatra, that it is indeed very watery. It's still residing in the second chakra, which is the water element. And I'm thinking now about certain friends that I have with very prominent Shravana nakshatra. And really, they can be like a sponge sometimes for other people's emotions, for other people's feelings. They absorb all the energies very easily. They're extremely sensitive, extremely empathic. But due to that, it may be sometimes hard for them to actually deal with all these different energies, all these different triggers from the outside. And this is why they literally feel like the lady on the picture, like they are very often very easily drained out of all energy because of that. So they are also very introvert people usually. They really need this time for themselves to simply just be with themselves, to feel, to hear their inner voice, to be in meditation, because this is what balances them. So to any person who is watching that video and who has moon in Shravana Nakshatra, I would definitely say, please meditate every day, because this is what is going to really bring you back to your center and back to your balance. And Anartha here, so the weak side of Shravana Nakshatra is jealousy. And this I have also seen many times, that jealousy may really happen. And this is mostly, I feel, due to this fact that Shravana people, they tend to look very much towards other people. They seek advice from other people. They want to always know what is happening in their environment. But because they themselves tend to be so indecisive sometimes, and they have hardness with taking the decision, and they have so many doubts, they just start to be jealous after some time. It can happen. But of course, this is something that can be also balanced with meditation and so on. And this is also very beautiful nakshatra from the point of view of the chakras, because it's the first nakshatra after Kritika that has all the planetary chakra energies here present. So the Mahadasha Lord here is the moon. This chakra is residing by its Beeja mantra in Swadhisthana chakra. It's in the heart of Capricorn, which is Muladhara chakra. And all the padas are contributing to all the different energies here. So I feel that this is why this nakshatra is very, very special in a way. And perhaps this is also why people born under this nakshatra are so receptive to many different things, so sensitive, and why it's so easy to them sometimes to actually adjust to their environment. This I noticed also a lot, that the quality of being able to adjust to their own environment. Like they would go, for example, to a foreign country and start working there, and they could literally in a month or two learn the new language, because they just have this quality to be like the water, to just take the shape of whatever situation they are put in. And the only thing they really need to do in order to balance that is to find their own truth also, and to perhaps not always change so much according to circumstances, but also to find their own, let's say, center of gravity. That's why meditation would be very, very, very helpful for them. But indeed, one other interesting quality of Shravana is that they can be very, very good in languages too. So these are my observations, Dr. Paiji.
Again, Ashalaji, I have to say, beautiful observations, very, very insightful. And this is again, I can reconfirm that I've seen that people could be very good with languages, no doubt about that. And also, I've seen these people have knowledge of multiple languages, not one language. They can actually speak 3 or 4 languages. I've seen many people when it comes to having their Ketu there or something, they have this ability to replicate, and even other planets as well, like Moon, can actually be very, very emotional and very, very absorbed. They can absorb. Now, one of these the good points that you mentioned about this nakshatra, like Kritika nakshatra, this nakshatra seems to have all the flavors of all the chakras in this nakshatra, which makes me think that again the deity of this nakshatra is Vishnu, or the alternate deity that we say is an incarnation of Vishnu, which is Vamana avatar, or we say Trivikrama, because he won over all the three worlds. Okay, Vikrama means one who won, Vikram, and Trivikrama, all the three worlds. He became the lord of the three worlds. So Vamana avatar is something, and then the Shakti of this nakshatra is called as Samhanana Shakti. Now, what is Samanana? Samanana has many meaning. One of the meaning is to the power to connect with other people, but it doesn't mean just connection with people. It also means bringing in agreement, bringing in harmony. So when two people are speaking, a Shravana Nakshatra person can actually mediate, but they don't feel confident about mediating and bringing in harmony, bringing in agreement. They have this ability, and it's also about connection and getting compacting things. Shravana Nakshatra people have seen Samhahana. Samhanana means compactness. Trying to bring things together. If you have multiple sources that you see information from, these are the people who can really bring that information together and knit a very, very beautiful storyline. And these people, as you mentioned, whenever they go to a foreign country, I've seen there's a lot of um, energy in this nakshatra for foreign travels or going overseas,
Yes,
because it's a 3 footsteps. You can see is a symbol of this nakshatra, and the three
yes,
footsteps.
and even
Yeah,
I think in Narayana Kavacham, no, not Narayana Kavacham. I think in Vishnu Kavacham, it's like a short prayer. It's also said like May Trivikrama, so Vamanadev protect me on my journey. The very
true.
very beautiful. It reminds me.
So this is the purpose of them. The Shravana natives are seekers. They are looking for their pathway. They go looking, and that's why it takes them to new cultures, new systems of learning new knowledge. Okay, somebody from US might want to travel to China or to India to come and learn Ayurvedic systems, or people want to go to learn Chinese medicine, Unani, or all different forms of, which is not very native to their own. So Shravana is all about trying to forge a connection, or trying to forge, and even compacting, because the what brings them to understanding that is because the complexity. And you can see how the Shravana natives can easily, over a period of time, through their research, through their patience and perseverance, they can actually bring things together and show the path for
Yes.
many others. So this is something I've seen. And one more thing I've seen with Shravana Nakshatra, they say Shravana is also connected to your limbs. And Samahana means also when you're walking, okay, rubbing of your limbs together is called samahana. When two limbs are walking, when you are walking, and that's why you see Shravana natives typically would have a different gait. You know what is gait? Gait. Gait is the way they walk. They have a very peculiar gait. Either they would have a little bit difference between the left and right leg is because of the three asymmetric steps that Vishnu took. Vishnu took one step, yeah, huge steps. So there is some element of something related to the legs will be very prominent in Shravana Nakshatra, besides the ears, which is very normal. Shravana is a ear. So I've seen, people who have Shravana Nakshatra could have connection with. Um, there was one person that I was seeing who was into preparing of ear aids. He had a business of doing
Oh,
ear aids, and he had a prominent planet, I think Sun, or I can't remember. And then that's a beautiful thing that you mentioned. I've also seen this is Venus. Whenever it comes there, it feels it's a difficult position for Venus to be in. Although people would say that, oh, it is in its friendly sign, Saturn's house, but still I found that in a Shravan Nakshatra, Venus, because Guru Shukracharya's words were not paid heed to. And Guru Shukracharya, there is a story with the Guru Shukracharya where he gets his eyes poked. Do you know the story? What happens is,
No, I don't.
okay, let me explain the story. This is beautiful, and this connection to Shravana can also be seen. Is whenever Vamana Avatar, he requests for 3 pieces of land to Raja, Mahabali. So the ritual in India is once you have to give away the land or the what is promised, you have to do a sankalp and you just drop water, and once the water flows from your palm, that means the word is given and it can never be taken back. Water flowing out of your palm is a promise. It's affirmation saying that I will never now retract back on my words. That is how it was. Water was an element of oath taking. So he takes a spot and which has a spout, spout like a kamandala, and then it has a small thing, right?
Yes, now I remember this one. Yes.
And what happens is his guru Shukracharya actually goes and sits in the spout in the the area where he blocks the water because he doesn't want the water to flow. So he Raja Bahabali is trying to pour the water, but no water is coming out. So what does Vaman Avatar do? He takes a straw from the ground and he pokes that thing. And when he pokes it to remove the thing, because Shukracharya is sitting there, his eyes get poked. One of his eyes gets hurt, and they say Shukracharya's one eye is almost blind. And I've seen this theme play out very well in Shravana natives. Is either they get some hurt somewhere near the eyes, or when they're child, you can see some mark here, very close to the eyes.
Mm.
Some hurt marks are there, and it can also say that if the Venus is there, it can make your eyesight a little bit weaker, or even the Sun and the Moon. In Shravana, I've seen one side is a little bit weaker than the other side.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, this is very true. I am also thinking now about people that I know, and it's really true about their eyes that there is something there always.
Yeah, slightly there could be some. I've seen many people,
Mm.
when I've seen people, I say Shravana, they also have seen some defect with one of the eyes, like squint eye or some problem with one of the eyes of a Shravana meter. Again, it depends on what planets are aspecting it. There are more, severe planets are aspecting it, and it becomes more pronounced.
Mm. Yes.
So if the 11th Lord, 12th Lord is coming there, then you can see that the legs and their way they walk would be very, very profound or very, very significant. You can actually, even if they're walking like, 500 meters away from you, you can still look at the way they're walking and you can say, oh, that is the person. So you can identify the people by just the style they walk. And that is Shravana Nakshatra.
Amazing.
And I've seen that people with Shravana can also have, because of the feet, the use of the feet is very, very, very key for them. So they love, maybe if the fourth lord is there, fourth lord is also vehicles. So they might be interested in cycling, going on mountains on cycles. You know. So
Yeah,
this
that is very true. I am thinking now about my friend who has very prominent Shravana. She loves walking barefoot.
barefoot, yeah.
That's her sadhana, literally. So
Going to the
amazing.
forest area, walking, cycling, everything to do with the feet becomes very prominent for them. So,
Mm,
so
very
that's very, very much Achalaji that I had to share. Do you want to add anything? Is there anything else that you wanted to add or share related
When
to
you were just
Shravan?
talking now about Shravana Nakshatra to 5G and this Shukracharya being trying to block, the water. I remember the story because it's also written in Srimad Bhagavatam, and it came to me, it's really like that very often to Shravana Nakshatra people. They are just about to make some decisions, some sankalpa, and then there's this doubt, that is really basically speaking, making it very hard for them to actually make the final decision. And it's very, very interesting. It's so symbolic, actually, in a way. Even if we look at this picture, here we have like water falling freely, completely from the pots. So it's very, very interesting.
Yeah, water falling freely, but if the water is blocked, then that is Venus or Shukracharya who's trying to block it from flowing. But I think predominantly Shravana is all about the water flowing very openly. again you can see the connection with unstopped water which is just flowing out from those what you call those pots. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So thank you very much, Ashalaji. This was again a great honor to have you here and to discuss nakshatras. I always look forward to discuss nakshatras with anybody because it gives me new ways to look at nakshatras. Every time I come, I read so much, but still, when I interact with people, there are new thoughts which comes, new ideas which comes, and this is like fascinating. I
Yes.
think it would take a few lifetimes to really, really understand what nakshatras are all about. And I feel this is like I've always said to people, that nakshatras is the ultimate thing because of the higher levels of vibrations that you can see with those playing with the with the nakshatras, and it is as though it is your astral body itself. Your astral body
Yes.
is linked with the nakshatras, and mostly I find that your physical body might be linked with your zodiac signs and rashis, the kalapurusha. But I think predominantly the astral body never dies, which is there, is the Ashlisha. Oh, sorry, not the Ashlisha. I'm saying the nakshatras themselves.
Mm.
So again,
Beautiful.
thank you very much, Achala ji, for joining us, and we will join again for the next nakshatra tomorrow. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.